George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. It is time to talk money. And we have our great money maven, Vicki Brackens, president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp, member SIPC. So we're going to talk strategy today, and we're going to talk about where does our money actually go. So talk to me, Vicki. First of all, how you doing? You've been on a little vacation for a minute, haven't you?
Well, George, I'm glad you asked. I have been on vacation. I missed talking to everyone last week, but I was down in sunny Georgia and actually in Columbia, South Carolina, which was the epicenter for the eclipse.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I was there a week before. But I did get to go over to the planetarium and really experience what was expected as far as the eclipse was concerned.
Well, that's very cool.
So today, what I really think we should do is to take a step back for a moment, because believe it or not, we are nearing the end of a quarter. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it.
It's actually the midpoint, or what I call the midterm, and let's take an opportunity to examine and sort of maybe test what we've accomplished over the last 11 weeks.
Okay.
So this week we're going to complete a conversation that we started a couple of weeks back on asset allocation, or if you remember the title, which was What's on Your Plate? And if we have some time, we'll go ahead and review some of the key points over the last 11 weeks. So let's get started with what's on your plate. I am going to go to one of my favorite resources. And what is that, George?
Investopedia.
Investopedia.com. I also want to remind everyone about a statement that we made a few weeks ago, which was, remember, everything is connected, because how these things are connected is going to be very important to you understanding asset allocation.
You know why I'm ringing the bell?
Why?
Because I want to remind people that if you say something that they don't understand and that I don't understand, I'm going to ring the jargon bell.
Okay.
So I didn't ring the bell to let them know that I was going to ring the bell. So I just rang the bell to ring the bell.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go with what is asset allocation. Here's the definition, the official definition. Asset allocation is an investment strategy or a process that aims to balance risk and reward by apportioning or by dividing a portfolio's assets according to an individual's goals, risk tolerance, and investment horizon, or a process that is designed to balance what's important about money to me. That's my goals. And the ability to handle variations or changes in return from my principal. That's what you call risk tolerance. And finally, time. I have my capacity for risk, for missing my goal. That's what we call the investment horizon. So if we look at this, the portfolio division typically focuses on three main financial asset classes. You've heard this before: equities, fixed income, cash, and cash equivalents. But why do we talk about these types of assets? Because they have different levels of risk and return, and each will behave. And I know it sounds funny to talk about money behaving.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does money misbehave?
Okay, we're going to look at that. Each asset class will behave differently over time. So what do we know about risk versus reward relationships? Let's look at this for a minute. The more risk, if we have more risk, we should expect what?
More reward.
More reward. If we have less risk, we should expect what?
Less reward.
Less reward. Well, when we break down the final statement, because they have different levels of risk and return, and each will behave differently over time, I think it's vitally important that we examine all three ideas and the relationship and how are they connected much more closely. So, George, listen.
Yes.
It's time to hold on to your hat and get that bell ready, because I know in the next few minutes there may be some terms.
You're ready to go deep.
Exactly.
Okay.
In fact, let me say this right now. If you need more information, you can reach me at 315-428-8448 or brackensfsn.com. So let's get ready. Let's get started. I love analogies, so let me use a couple here. If you own something, say you owned a dog, who is responsible for feeding the dog?
Oh, in my house, everybody else.
Well, no, typically the owner.
Yes.
Okay, is responsible for feeding the dog.
Yes,
okay?
the owner is responsible. Yes.
Who's responsible for walking the dog?
The owner.
Okay, if the dog poops on the nice hardwood floors in your mother's home, who's responsible for that?
You are.
You are. The owner is. So who assumes for the responsibility for all the risk? You do.
Yes.
The owner does.
Yes.
But when you come home at night, after a long day, and you open the door, who's ready there waiting for you with the tag wagging? Who's that waiting?
Your dog.
The dog, because the dog loves you. You are the love of his life. You get, as the owner, the reward of the love, the affection, and the loyalty because you own the dog.
Yes.
You own the dog, and you have a piece of his heart, and you have, quote, equity. You have ownership position in that relationship.
Oh, you're getting cute now. Go ahead.
There is a major responsibility and a risk, but also the potential for major reward because you are the owner. So next relationship, next analogy, cash. Well, think of it like this. Cash is like a cat. Takes care of itself.
Right.
Requires little of you. Every once in a while it allows you to love it, and occasionally offers you and gives you a little love. Your reward comes in, say, interest payments, maybe very low interest payments, but they're always there, and there is little risk that they will leave you. That's a cat. That's cash.
Okay.
And
Cash is like a
finally,
cat. All right.
Cash is like a cat. And finally, fixed income. Now, this is a very different kind of concept. The key words here are fixed and income. When do you normally pay someone an income?
When they do something for you or ongoing, yeah.
Exactly. When you do some work for them or a service, provide a service to them, and they receive an income. Also, when you borrow something, you pay them something over time. You pay them an interest payment over time. Fixed income is an investment based on the relationship of borrowing and lending. You classically also see the word bonds.
Sure.
Okay, so that's what fixed income is. You, the investor, lend money to the borrower because they need money to do something. That can be a company, that can be a government, that can be a taxing authority, say like the throughway system or hospital system. The point being, they want to do something and they need to borrow money, but they don't want to give away ownership position. And probably the lender doesn't want ownership either because they don't want the risk of ownership. The borrower is willing to give me, the investor, the lender, the right to take the property also in the future if the borrower doesn't return the money. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does. Go ahead. Keep going.
But what the lender wants is some level of reward for lending the money. Why do they need reward for lending the money? Because they don't have the use. You gave the money to me, you can't use it during that period of time. So what the lender or the investor expects is to get their money back. We all want our money back if we lend it to someone.
That's right.
At a certain time, when the borrower has it, they pay interest payment at a scheduled time. So you, the investor's reward, is the interest payment and the return of principal. The investor's risk, I, the borrower, may not pay you back, or I may miss some of the interest payments, so that's the risk that we have. So with ownership, equity, we bear the risk and responsibility of ownership, or basically we could lose it all. So we should expect to reap a bigger reward. We should expect to get a bigger payback. With cash, not much risk, not much reward, but it's always there when we need it. And with fixed income, we are getting back an interest payment, and that interest payment in principle is our reward. So based on my goals.
Well, did you hear that jargon, bro?
I did.
Well, why you ain't stop?
Because I know you don't want me to stop.
I just
you
want you
me to breathe.
That's exactly right. You understand. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Slow down, Vicki.
Yes.
We need to ask a question. What's the question?
No, I just needed you to breathe.
You want me to breathe?
Yeah. Take a breath, sister.
Okay. So based on my goals,
yes,
and my time horizon, and my ability to handle uncertainty, I have to design an investment strategy, and that's what they call asset allocation.
Okay, I'm with you.
Looking at the risk of each individual asset because they have different personalities. One was a dog, one was a cat, and the other one is about risk and reward. Okay, and then divide that pie into a strategy that will help us to manage over a long period of time how our assets grow. It's critically important for everyone to understand that the strategy for asset allocation and that decision actually drives about 80% of the success in your portfolio. Do not take this process lightly. It's the most important portion of your decision. How to divide and distribute and proportion where and what asset classes you are using. I encourage everyone, again, as I said, if you need more information, give me a call, 315-428-8448, or go to brackensfsn.com. Since you told me to take a breath, George,
I did.
I think maybe next week we'll wait, okay, on taking the test over the 11 weeks of information that we have discussed.
Yes.
But I will close with this. Remember, everything is connected. Next week we'll connect the dots, and your plate is now full.
Vicki Brackens, there was a lot there, so we encourage you. Again, if you need more information from Vicki, give her a shout out. Go to brackensfsn.com, and you can call Vicki at 315-428-8448. Vicki Brackens, thank you so much.
Thanks, George.
Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., member SIPC, and a great supporter of Inspiration for the Nation. Inspiration for the Nation.